Hey everybody, what's up? Chad Wesley Smith here for the Juggernaut Training Systems YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about explosive push-ups and how these can be a benefit to your bench press training or training for athletes. So a couple different things that we're going to talk about, different variations and progressions for the explosive push-ups and how to fit them into your training, whether you're a powerlifter trying to bench press the most, an offensive lineman, a shot putter, jiu-jitsu, MMA, whatever it is. These can be great variations and are often overlooked aspects of their training. As always, videos here on the JTS channel are brought to you by the JuggernautAI app, so you can visit the link down in the description or JuggernautAI.app for a 2-week free trial to get the smartest program for you. That's going to totally customize your training based on gender, age, height, weight, strength, experience. How much do you sleep? Where do you miss lifts? It's going to take all that stuff into account, and it's going to do it better than ever with our new 2.5 updates. So again, JuggernautAI.app or link down in the description. So explosive push-ups, what's going to be good about them? The faster that you can turn on motor units, a high rate of force development is going to help you bench press more, especially off the chest. And for athletes, it's going to be so beneficial, probably more beneficial than how much you can actually bench press is going to be how quickly you can punch, double hand punch, push for all kind of sports or single arm stuff as well. So it's going to look at kind of general developmental to special developmental, special preparatory exercises depending on sports. So if you've never done any true explosive upper body work, you want to prepare your body for that. So in the same way that you wouldn't just start a plyometric program of depth jumps and hurdle hops with no kind of intro to that, you don't want to do that with the upper body either, because these explosive push-up variations can really be thought of like jumps for the upper body. So a good place to start this is going to be either an assisted clapping push-ups or incline clapping push-ups. So an incline clapping push-up, depending on your level of readiness, is going to depend on the box height that you want to use. And it's just going to be a little bit easier to do it on the incline than it would be with your hands on the ground. An assisted variation, and this is going to come up later as a more advanced, actually accelerated version, but being used for different reasons. The assisted version is going to be if you aren't strong enough, relatively strong enough to do these on the ground. The assisted version, you're going to kind of tuck yourself through here, band underneath your armpits. It's just going to give me a little bit of a boost. Or if the clapping's too much, just pop your hands off the ground. So the incline clapping push-ups or band-assisted clapping push-ups are going to be a great introduction to this explosive upper body work. You're going to want to look at maybe a 3 or 4 week block and just increase either your number of reps per set or your total number of sets. So over the course of 3 weeks, that might be like 4 sets of 3, 4 sets of 4, 4 sets of 5 reps, or staying at 3 reps the whole time. Go 4 sets of 3, 5 sets of 3, 6 sets of 3. So you're building up some capacity and getting ready for our next progression. And this next progression we're going to use is very similar to a lower body plyometric progression, because these are jumps for the upper body. So we're looking at jumping up, jumping down, and then jumping down and up. So the progression we use for this, and if you've used the Juggernaut BJJ app, read the Juggernaut football manual, these are going to be very familiar to you. We're doing what we call box push-ups, which is like a box jump with your arms. And we're doing drop push-ups, which is like an altitude landing. And then we're doing depth push-ups, which is like a depth jump where we're jumping down and up. So box push-ups, we're going to start on the ground in between 2 boxes. And just like box jumps, the height of the box isn't that important. How high you project your center of mass is much more important. So in the box push-ups, I'm starting here in between, and I can do a couple different types of starts. I can do a more static start or a dynamic start. Either way, I'm trying to land as high as I can on the boxes with soft hands. I don't want to be slapping the top of the boxes and catching myself low, because it's not a contest of how quickly I can pull my hands up. Just like a box jump shouldn't be a test of how well you can pull your knees to your ears. So you're going to use this for the first part of the progression. Typically, I'll do this 4 sets of 2, 4 sets of 3, 4 sets of 4, or 4 sets of 2, 5 sets of 2, 6 sets of 2 in a 3-week wave, and then deload. With these box push-ups, you could also get into variations a little bit more specific for the bench press, or maybe you're wearing a weighted vest, you pause at the bottom and explode up from there. Then you could create a progression with heavier and heavier vests from week to week, or higher and higher boxes with the same weight vest. But we need to be overloading it in some way. So that's the first part of our progression. The next part is going to be drop push-ups. Drop push-ups, we start on top, we jump down, we stick the landing, we're trying to decelerate as quickly as possible. So a common mistake that I see with the drop push-ups is people land high and kind of decelerate themselves softly down to the bottom position. I'm trying to get to the bottom position as quickly as possible and stop as quickly as possible. So that's gonna be our second step in the progression, drop push-ups. Hard, quick deceleration about halfway down in the push-up position. You can manipulate this with the height of the boxes, so you could change that from week to week, or just use that same loading strategy, like 4 sets of 2, 5 sets of 2, 6 sets of 2, if you're at the same height boxes, or 4 sets of 2, 4 sets of 3, 4 sets of 4. Finally, the third step in our progression are depth push-ups. Now we're kind of taking the drop push-ups and box push-ups and putting them together into a depth jump for the upper body. This is the more advanced variation. So now we're starting on top, jumping down, jumping back up. So we're trying to have a short ground contact time, get off the ground quickly, get as high as we can. Again, soft hands, cat-like, ninja-like hands throughout all of these. So that's a progression that we can use over 9 to 12 weeks. 3 weeks of box push-ups, deload. 3 weeks of drop push-ups, deload. 3 weeks of depth push-ups, deload. After that, you could get into band accelerated push-ups, which are going to be just like the band assisted push-ups I showed you earlier, but now instead of doing them for someone who's not strong enough and ready enough to do clapping push-ups on their own, now we're using the band assistance more in like a French contrast type of method to help you get off the ground even quicker, reach even higher weights. So that's gonna be a bit more of an advanced variation, but again, it's the exact same exercise, just being used for a different purpose. So all these explosive push-up variations are great. There's also a ton of good explosive upper body training that you can do with a medicine ball. So let's take a look at that.
Another great option for the explosive upper body training is using medicine ball throws. Use a similar type of progression with that. Going from a static start to a dynamic start. So that would be the equivalent of the static start box push-ups, dynamic start box push-ups. Then just catching the heavy ball would be the equivalent of the drop push-ups. And then the depth push-ups are where you drop and throw. You got to be trying to throw it as high as possible. And of course, you can manipulate this with either the height of the drop or the weight of the ball.
Well, hopefully you learned a little something about using explosive upper body training to benefit your bench press or to improve sport performance for athletes like offensive and defensive linemen, shot putters, combat sport athletes. A lot of great benefits because jumps aren't just for the lower body, they're for the upper body as well. So if you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to check out a 2-week free trial of the JuggernautAI app in the link down in our description or by visiting JuggernautAI.app. Thank you.